was a random murder spree.
Authorities have made arrests after a terrifying series of deadly shootings near Los Angeles. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Today, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office announced 2 men have been arrested in connection with 4 deadly shootings. They happened within hours of each other on Sunday night into early Monday morning. Investigators gave an update late today.
It appears this was a random murder spree. However, homicide investigators have not ruled anything out. There may be other incidents, but at this time, we don't have any information indicating that.
Investigators say they combed surveillance footage and spotted the same car driving away from each of those shooting scenes. Tonight, Fox 11's Gigi Graciette has more on the victims, including one who was just 14 years old.
That's right. Sources here confirming that several people were taken into police custody early this morning for questioning in a string of shootings that left 4 people dead in just a matter of hours. His name is Kevin Parada, a husband and father to a toddler. Kevin, seen here on a GoFundMe page created to help pay for his funeral after he was shot and killed in a string of senseless murders that may be connected. There are 4 other victims, like Javier Pedraza Jr., Javi to friends and family. He was only 14, also seen here on a GoFundMe page. And today at the Ellen Ochoa Learning Center in Cudahy, a memorial sits on the school's lawn honoring a young life lost, as friends come to mourn the teen with the curly hair that so many loved.
He didn't deserve this. Just a random shooting. It's not. He didn't deserve this at all. Everyone's very heartbroken. A lot of people loved him. A lot of people cared for him. And you can see right behind you how much people care for him, how much people feel his pain. I mean, he's part of our community, and we're all a family at the end of the day.
The shooting started in Bell Sunday night around 10:30 when Kevin, who had been visiting with a high school friend, was shot to death near another school on Bear Avenue. He didn't stand a chance. When a car pulled up, someone got out and shot him, just like that. 40 minutes later, another shooting. This one on the 1500 block of East Florence in the Florence Firestone area. The victim, a man dying in the parking lot of a grocery store. He had also been shot to death. 10 minutes later at 12:19 in Cudahy, another shooting. Javier and another teenager had been talking in front of the school on Live Oak Street when the shooter drove up, shooting both boys, killing 14-year-old Javier instantly. His friend, reportedly shot in the leg as he ran, survived. 2:37 a.m. Huntington Park police officers were on patrol when they found a man lying in the street near a fire station on Santa Fe. The victim, believed to be a homeless man who lived in a nearby encampment, was dead. He, too, had been shot to death. In Bell, Gigi Graciette.
A Washington woman is suing after she was arrested at gunpoint for drunk driving, but it turns out she wasn't under the influence. She was actually suffering a serious medical emergency. Police body camera video shows this dramatic arrest.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car now!
This is video of Nicole McClure's arrest in 2022. In the video, Washington State Patrol Trooper Jonathan Barnes tells McClure she is under arrest for DUI and eluding. However, the lawsuit says no one conducted a DUI test or gave McClure a breathalyzer. Instead, she was taken to jail where she spent more than a day suffering from a brain bleed. McClure had to have part of her skull removed and now has permanent brain damage.
This was really a systemic failure for Nicole.
Okay, so why do it work?
It hits you. This is a person whose life is never going to be the same, and she's never going to be the same.
The county sheriff named in the suit released a statement that says, in part, quote, the nature of the allegations as reported are serious and will be treated as such. Authorities revealed some new details today about the 4 people found dead inside a home in the Bay Area. Those bodies were discovered yesterday in San Mateo, and we learned today they were members of a family, a mother, father, and twin 4-year-old boys. Police are investigating this as a triple murder-suicide. Sources tell KTVU a 37-year-old man is believed to have shot and killed his 38-year-old wife and his sons before turning the gun on himself.
There was no note, and the motive and all of that is under investigation, and all of our detectives are still actively investigating this case and trying to figure out the motive and what caused this.
Investigators at the scene recovered a 9mm pistol and a loaded magazine. That gun was purchased legally several months ago. Some terrifying moments for a driver in Northern California. The CHP says a woman became stranded in the Trinity River on top of her SUV after she ran off the road. The crash happened Saturday in Trinity County near the Oregon border. The driver managed to get out of the car and climbed on top of the roof to wait for help. When a CHP chopper arrived, rescue crews hoisted the woman to safety. The cause of that crash is under investigation. In Utah, 2 pilots are recovering after an Army National Guard helicopter crash. The Utah National Guard says one of its AH-64D Apache Longbow helicopters went down in West Jordan yesterday afternoon. It happened during a training exercise that involved landing at a nearby support facility.
One of the pilots was a senior instructor pilot, and so that's routine for this type of training mission. Safety investigations they're begun immediately. And usually they try to wrap things up within 90 days.
The Utah National Guard says a team from the Army Combat Readiness Center will head up the investigation into this crash. All right, now we turn to Las Vegas, and we are getting a sense of just how many people poured into that city for Sunday's Super Bowl. Harry Reid International Airport says it broke the record yesterday for the number of people screened by the TSA in a single day. It was a surge of visitors heading back home after the big game. Airport officials say a total of 104,000 travelers flew out yesterday. Officials say the busiest hour for TSA screening in Las Vegas was between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. when 7,700 people went through security. And Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas was the most watched broadcast in history with 123 million viewers across all platforms. That was up 7% over last year's Super Bowl, which was a previous record of 115 million viewers. Analysts say part of the draw was to see if the Chiefs could repeat as Super Bowl champions, which they did. And a lot of people wanted to see if Taylor Swift would be on hand for the big game, which she was. It was also the longest Super Bowl game in TV history. Well, the offseason officially started today for the San Francisco 49ers. The players cleaned out their lockers, still crushed by Sunday's Super Bowl loss. KTVU's Jesse Gary has more tonight from Levi Stadium in Santa Clara.
We're going to have to live with for a lifetime the reality that we didn't get it done this time.
The hard reality of losing, looming over the 49ers locker room like a death in the family.
It hit me and then it go away, and it hit me again, and it's just like, it don't even feel like it's so real right now. It's a different type of feeling, like I don't even have the answer. I don't know, like, can't even describe it. It's like one of the biggest heartbreaks you'll deal with.
At Levi's Stadium Tuesday, there's no music, no laughter, no smiles, just the gnawing pain of, for now, being second best.
Still tough, still stings and hurts. I think that right now, just it's okay to feel like this.
We got to the Super Bowl, we went to overtime, we fell short of it. It sucks. We wanted it. We gave our all this year.
The day for clearing out lockers is especially hard for wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. His voice choked with emotion, his cheeks wet with tears as he talked about missing teammates that gave everything for the cause.
Guys that came in that worked to be champions every single day.
Up by 3 in overtime of Super Bowl 58, the Niners watched their championship dream evaporate into disbelief and heartbreak.
I thought one of the hardest things after the game was just watching how much everyone hurt for each other. I mean, guys are hurt for me, I hurt for them.
The magic of Pat Mahomes was a major factor, but also San Francisco's missed plays and players playing with injuries. Eric Armstead had a torn meniscus and Javon Hargrave a torn thumb ligament. So much effort, so much pain, and now dealing with the most crushing pain for the entire offseason.
It takes time. I would say, it's okay to be upset, disappointed. That's totally fine. You just don't want to let that affect, other aspects of your life.
You take a little time, and move on and get ready for next year. At the end of the day, like you said, the feeling will shall pass, and once spring rolls around, everybody gonna have that same hunger to get back.
General Manager John Lynch has already started trying to improve the team, looking at trades, free agency, and the upcoming NFL draft. The players are getting out of town. To a person, they've said they've not yet looked at video from the Super Bowl. Outside the home of the Niners in Santa Clara, Jesse Gary, KTVU, Fox 2 Sports.
The new primary play-by-play announcer for the Oakland A's will be making history this upcoming season.
And that ball is shot into left field. Fire up the fountains. She's gone.
The A's have hired Jenny Kavar, marking the first time in MLB history that a woman will be the primary play-by-play voice for a major league team. She will call a majority of the games this season. Kavar has nearly 2 decades of baseball experience. Prior to this position, she was the backup play-by-play announcer for the Colorado Rockies for the past 12 years. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, the death toll from the Maui wildfire grew today. The Lahaina victim who was identified for the first time. Also, why Arizona lawmakers are suing President Biden over his move to create a national monument around the Grand Canyon.
And in West Coast weather, here's our live camera from the San Francisco Bay Area looking out toward Oakland, where rain returns in the Wednesday forecast. And what about other portions of the West Coast? We'll have the update coming up.
In Hawaii, the death toll from the Lahaina wildfire has grown to 101 after Maui police today confirmed the identity of a new victim, 76-year-old Paul Kaspersky. He was one of 3 people still missing from that fire. The discovery was the work of a newly formed cold case detail in the Maui Police Department. It was formed to try to find the remains of those who are still missing after that fire. Also in Hawaii, the cruise ship that sailed out of San Francisco on Friday, despite having more than 150 sick crew members and passengers on board, has arrived in Honolulu. The Cunard Line Queen Victoria docked yesterday. Hawaii health officials boarded that ship. They say the outbreak of the gastrointestinal illness is similar to norovirus. The first reports of the illness came after the ship left Florida and continued after it arrived in San Francisco. Everyone who's reported symptoms, including 25 crew members, has been isolated, and the CDC is now working with Hawaii's health department to investigate that illness. The top 4 frontrunners in the race for the U.S. Senate seat in California all debated in San Francisco last night.
As someone who's been consistently standing up for what is right, being a progressive champion all of these years, I think voters are going to be able to see the distinction between all of us.
Look, I think what's good for California is if we have a senator who can take on the big fights and get stuff done. That is ready to step into Dianne Feinstein's shoes and deliver for the state.
This was the second debate between Democratic congressional members Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, and Barbara Lee, as well as Republican Steve Garvey. Garvey, a former professional baseball player, was pressed during the debate on how he previously supported former President Trump.
Constant badgering and the use of the former president's name as an attack against me to try to paint me into a corner. And that's what career politicians do.
This kind of back and forth between Democrats and Republicans is what people are fed up with, because they're not focusing on the question that you asked, which is one that deserves to be answered.
The 2 candidates with the most votes in the March 5th primary election will advance to the November 5th general election. Thousands of flight attendants walked picket lines today at 30 major airports across the country, including several here in the West. This was the scene at San Francisco International Airport. The flight attendants are calling for better pay and working conditions. The picket lines were part of a national effort by flight attendants representing several unions and airlines, including American, Alaska, United, Southwest, and Frontier.
We want to stand up for corporate greed, which means we want a livable wage. We want to be recognized for the contribution that we make to the airline's profits and the contribution we make to the safety of the flight.
The picket lines at SFO today did not disrupt any flights. United Airlines, in a statement, said it's looking forward to working with the flight attendants union to narrow down the issues. A federal mediator has set the first negotiating session for March 19th. In Los Angeles, Paramount Pictures announced hundreds of layoffs, roughly 3% of the company's workforce. These cuts reportedly affect all divisions, including CBS, Paramount, Showtime, and the cable networks under the company's banner, including MTV, Comedy Central, and Nickelodeon. The company sent out an email today saying those who are being let go will be notified by the end of the day. A new study finds community college bachelor degree programs in California have been helpful to Latino students. Beginning in 2014, a few of the state's community colleges were approved to offer two-year bachelor's degree programs. A new UCLA study finds 64% of Latino students who enrolled in the degree programs graduated within 2 years. And Latino students who graduated from the programs reported earning $22,000 a year more on average than they did before. Arizona state Republicans are suing President Biden over designating 1 million acres around the Grand Canyon as a new national monument. The federal lawsuit says Biden exceeded his authority when he made the move back in August. It limits uranium mining in that area. The lawsuit claims the designation will prevent Arizona utilities from accessing the chemical used in nuclear fuel and make it more difficult for the state to manage land by that monument. All right, have a look at this view, an incredible one from Yosemite National Park. It's the annual phenomenon known as the firefall. This happens every February when the setting sun lights up Horsetail Falls at just the perfect angle, and it gives us this illusion of a flowing stream of lava. We see it every year. It never gets old. Let's bring in our meteorologist, Mark Tamayo, tracking a number of storm systems headed toward the west coast. Mark?
Yeah, that's right, Alex. It looks like a very active weather pattern headed our way over the next several days for portions of the west coast. We're going to take a look long range here, showing you the forecast model, multiple systems. First one comes on board tomorrow, and then we'll take a pause here into the weekend. So this is Sunday during the afternoon hours. This will probably be the strongest storm as it's developing offshore here. And look what happens. It's kind of just expands over a good portion of the west coast, and this could also produce some strong gusty winds as well. So we're talking about a series of systems. This will be the strongest one into next week, Sunday night and into Monday. In Seattle today, showing you some sunshine, temperature of 51 degrees. So it looks like you can see a little bit of a blue sky there. In San Francisco, a temperature of 58, some cloud cover increasing throughout the afternoon hours. And in Phoenix, lots of blue sky. They get the nice weather if you like sunshine, and some mild temperatures. A high today of 71 degrees. Current numbers across the board right now, as you can pick out Seattle 43, San Francisco 54, Los Angeles reporting some mid-50s right now. And here is the satellite. As you can see, this system offshore here. This will be a factor in producing rainfall for San Francisco as we head into your Wednesday morning, especially mid-morning, then eventually up in the Pacific Northwest. But as you can see, once again, we have multiple systems lining up offshore, and even rainfall being the increase down in Southern California later in the week. So for tomorrow, for your Wednesday, it starts off dry in Seattle, but more rain developing later in the day, especially by Wednesday evening. Rain returns for San Francisco. Looks like a quiet weather pattern for Los Angeles, and also out toward Phoenix, clearing skies and mild, and also some sunshine out toward Denver with temperatures in the 50s. So here's the forecast model. Once again, it's picking up on this first system, and here you go. This is the rain expanding over Northern California, increasing in San Francisco, especially by mid-morning. And then you can see all the action, the rain and the snow up in the Pacific Northwest. So this is Wednesday, 5 p.m. Still some active weather into a Thursday, at least for Northern California. That rain line will shift to the north throughout the day on Thursday, but then once again, we're talking about another system offshore that will be approaching the coastline in California later in the week, and especially into early next week as well. So take a look at the numbers for tomorrow and the forecast. Increasing clouds for Seattle with the rain chances going up late in the afternoon and into Wednesday evening. For San Francisco, we do have the rainfall developing. And then if you want the clear skies and the mild conditions, it's going to be happening once again in Los Angeles and in Phoenix with temperatures in the 60s. In fact, Phoenix could be approaching the low to mid 70s for Thursday and into Friday. But it will be a busy forecast period over the next several days, Alex, as the storms offshore will approach the coastline. It's something that will keep us busy into the weekend and into next week.
Yeah, we'll keep tracking that. Mark, thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, an Arizona woman takes collecting Barbies to the next level. Why she says she is such an avid collector. Plus, the wild weekend in the desert at the Phoenix Open that is now prompting some changes from tournament organizers. Arizona, a Barbie exhibit is set to open up to the public tomorrow at the Phoenix Art Museum. And it's likely one local woman will be visiting this exhibit since her collection rivals the museum's. Fox 10's Ellen McNamara has more tonight from Phoenix.
From vintage era to the mod era, Lisa Davis is obsessed.
Barbie's the best thing since sliced bread.
When you step into the collection room at her home in Phoenix, a large Barbie greets you.
I found her on eBay, and they advertised her as being in a New York window as a prop for MAC Cosmetics.
Her posh couch looks like something that any Barbie would enjoy relaxing on. Davis loved Barbies growing up, but her dolls were put away in storage. About 3 decades later, her love of collecting began in 2009 when she pulled out some of those dolls from her childhood in Chicago. Then she started browsing eBay.
Before I knew it, I had spent a bazillion dollars and a bazillion hours just down that rabbit hole, checking out everything that reminded me of my childhood with Barbie.
Today, she has nearly 300 dolls, a few of the number ones, the first ones that were sold. The outfits and accessories are also important to a collector.
Every single one of these outfits that you see has a name and a number. I mean, it's cataloged by Mattel, and somebody keeps track of all that.
Since the hit movie Barbie came out in 2023, more have started collecting. And even though there might be more competition out there for a collector like Davis, she says she has no plans to stop.
I take breaks every now and again because life gets in the way, but I don't see a plan to stop.
And that was Fox 10's Ellen McNamara reporting tonight. Also in Arizona, some changes are coming to the Phoenix Open Golf Tournament after a wild weekend in the desert. The tournament, which is held in Scottsdale, saw serious overcrowding on the course on Saturday, which caused the suspension of admissions and alcohol sales. Several videos of unruly fans went viral. And on Friday, a woman fell from the stands at the 16th hole, sending her to the hospital. Organizers say they are now working on making some safety improvements before next year's tournament. Finally, tonight, a Southern California airport is taking a step back in time and inviting people past security checkpoints, even if they're not catching a flight. The Palm Springs Airport is offering what it calls stay and play passes. Visitors can use them when they're picking up or dropping someone off at the airport. People do have to fill out an application that will be approved by the TSA, and visitors still do need to follow all of the screening procedures. You can get a pass as quickly as 15 minutes after applying. Sort of a throwback in certain ways to the way we used to travel. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. Thank you so much for watching. And a reminder before we go, you can stay up to date with all the stories we're covering at westcoastwrap.com. And you can stream all of our shows on your smart TV by downloading the Fox Local app. Have a great rest of your night. We will see you back here tomorrow night.